Welcome to the Bitcoin Boomer Show. Here's your host, the Bitcoin Boomer himself, Gary Leland.
And welcome to another episode of the Bitcoin Boomer Show. I'm your host, Gary Leland, and I am a Bitcoin Boomer. There's no doubt about it. But one thing I want to make sure you know, this show is not necessarily for boomers. This show is just for anyone who's interested in Bitcoin. I just happen to be a boomer, so it's a Bitcoin Boomer Show, not the Bitcoin for Boomers show. So don't confuse the two. Now, what we try to do here is basically we just try to educate you about Bitcoin. I'm not selling you Bitcoin. I'm not like sending you commercials to go buy Bitcoin from somebody. We're just talking about Bitcoin and trying to educate you and your friends about Bitcoin. So hopefully when the revolution happens, not revolution as in violence, but the Bitcoin becomes more and more popular and more people are using it, you are aware of what Bitcoin is and you know something about it instead of having to catch up later. I think Bitcoin is revolutionary though, and I think it's going to change the world as we know it. I think it's already changing the world as we know it. So it's just a matter of time before everyone will be using Bitcoin. So if I'm right, then you need to find out about Bitcoin. Now, last week I was in LA, Santa Monica at the Pacific Bitcoin Festival. And one of the people I talked to was a guy named Alladan from BTC Trading Cards. Now, I've met him before and I've seen him before, but I talked to him in more detail and found out more about his trading cards that he creates for Bitcoin. And I found not only was the concept behind these cards really a great idea, because it's a teaching tool and people collect them. So it's both. It's like baseball cards, because people collect them, but it's also educating people about Bitcoin, the facts and the information that's on it. So I decided to bring Alladan on the show today, and we're going to talk about Bitcoin trading cards, his project that he's done, which is really taking off like no tomorrow, his product there. We're going to talk about Bitcoin in general. We're going to talk about CBDCs. We're going to talk about boomers getting into Bitcoin, how slow it is for them to get, how slow they've been at getting into Bitcoin. So please stay tuned to the show. And if you know anyone who may be interested in finding out more about Bitcoin, please tell them about our show. I want to thank my great producer, Stephanie, for taking care of the show work today. Stephanie, you doing okay?
Yes.
Okay. And also want to thank BizTalk TV for letting me use their studios and producing this show and distributing it. So stay tuned, get ready for a deep dive into Bitcoin trading cards and Bitcoin, of course. We'll be right back after this word from our sponsor with Alladan from BTC Trading Cards. Stay tuned.